Hi, my name's Clare Fairclough. I work in a high school. I'm Learning Support Unit Manager and Safeguarding Officer. I live with my husband. I have my youngest son is in the music business, so he travels the world a lot. My favourite hobby is I read historical, factual and fictional. I love plants. I love my garden and I ride bikes, motorbike. To be honest, always. I never felt that I fitted in. I always felt different than other people. I didn't like the same things that people my age liked, even when I was little. And I didn't need anybody. And I used to run everywhere. I was a bit like Forrest Gump. And then high school was, for me, was horrific, if I'm quite honest. There was nothing about my school life that I would ever wish to return to. It was overwhelming. It was so noisy and overcrowded, and people were so cruel, in my opinion. And I did the same thing there. I ran, or I used to abscond from school, educationally wise. The lessons weren't a problem at all. No. There was something wrong with me because I had no understanding. So I thought it was normal to be treated in that manner, although what they were doing was wrong. I was just a person that wasn't liked. But I was weird. I was a bit of a swot in some subjects. And I was good at sport, and I think that caused... I'm thinking about it now, I know now why they were that way. But back then, I used to try and comfort myself by thinking, well, they're not very good at it. The pressure's been building up because it's quite a stressful job, and it had built up, and there was just one particularly young boy that was in it at that time. He was very, very troubled, and I think it was just a straw that broke the camel's back. I thought, I can't do this anymore. I ended up going to the staff toilets, and I just sat on the floor and I cried and cried and cried, and it was uncontrollable, and I felt like I completely and utterly lost the plot. And then when I started to see my GP, who at that time was very good, she was very gentle, very kind, and she suggested that I go and see mental health specialist at Mind. And within the first, I'd say, first or second session, he said, you need to go get yourself assessed for autism. And it made a difference to me because he could identify with all of my reactions. I'd been to the doctors a couple of times, and it was a different GP, and the GP said, well, you go to work. How can you possibly have autism? You work. So that made me feel a bit like I was wasting everybody's time. So I asked them to send in this referral form, and I think they sent it in 3 or 4 times, and 3 or 4 times it got kicked back. But that was because they didn't know me. So I think that was about 6 months, approximately. 6 months to a year before we could actually get the paperwork. Well, my sister filled most of it in with me, and then she wrote a covering letter to say what my behaviour is like, how it was affecting me, and about my poor state of mental health. I then got an appointment to come in and be seen. I was frightened. If it wasn't going to be this, then why was I so weird? Why was I so completely different from everybody else? I wanted answers. I wanted a reason why at that time was at 52, why I felt the way I did, why I never had this. I never slotted in, but within a few minutes there was just no pressure, and I came in and I have to know in my weird head, I have to know where the fire exits are. I have to know, I have to scan a room first. I always have done, it's not, but she let me scan the room, she let me stand, and I didn't feel uncomfortable. I was nervous about the answers, but as a person to meet, to have a first experience, to have of another human who actually understands where you come. And when I went away, it was sort of a case of that the service said that they would let me know if it isn't autism or it isn't whatever is the matter with me. I just wanted somewhere I could just fit in my own mind and in society, really. It doesn't bother me now that I rock and I tick, but that's because of here. That's because of what the service and the diagnosis has done for me. I felt like I'd been in a cocoon, does that make sense? And I just become a butterfly. That's how it felt. It was freedom. It had a massive impact because not only could they understand me better, and my sister, my eldest sister, who's sort of like my mum really, my eldest sister could explain to the rest of my family why I was so a bit blunt and a bit brusque. And the autism unit, it's been life-changing for me. I can't thank them enough for what a difference it's made to my life, everybody else's life that I'm involved in. And it's always nice to know that you've got that anchor. Absolutely, I've had a wellness plan and how to, if I start feeling overwhelmed, what my triggers are. But what I would say, one of my criticisms, and it is not of the autism service, is of the GPs. The GPs need, if somebody comes in, as I did to my GP, and say that my mental health worker suggested that I have autism, I need you to complete these forms. The GPs need to take 5 minutes and think, well, yeah, maybe we do. There's nothing that this place could do better. Just don't change. Carry on doing exactly what they're doing. No.